just another routine case. It shouldn't be like any other. I guess we're gonna have to have this dialogue now. Guards, leave us for a minute.
You can't take my peace. You can't take my peace away from me.
That's exactly what has been taken away, your peace.
It's not of this world, not subject to your moods or your rights.
Well, I've heard that from your people over and over again. Dead is still dead.
I'm not of this world, not subject to your failures and your control.
Sedition, that's your crime. That's what you'll pay for.
You won't take my perfect peace. I'm not the one who sold her soul.
It's not about the soul. It's about you being dead in about 20 minutes.
You might take my life, only if it's my time.
It's over. Admit it.
You can't take the peace and love in my heart away.
What are you talking about?
It's not of this world, but
What
you
world?
are of this world.
You're damn right I'm of this world. That's right, honey, this world's all you're gonna get.
You are
You're out of line. There is no way that I'm gonna listen to this. You're insane. You're crazy.
are the blight.
You're a blight. You're a blight, that's why you're being eliminated.
You want to fight,
There is no God.
but it's not me who is your enemy.
If you just shut up, this wouldn't be happening
I
to
don't
you.
understand. I don't understand anything. I've been over backwards for her and for her people and people like this. I've been around them my whole life. I understand them, but the law is the law. I have to uphold the law or not. Is it a law or is it not a law? Is it the way we live or is it the way you want chaos? You want everything to be in chaos? There are rules here. I gotta follow the rule. I don't understand why you're on me. Why am I supposed to feel guilty? What did I do wrong? So what am I supposed to do about this? Let her go?
Stand as proof before all creation
She's willing to die,
that I am free
but what's inside her is
because
powerful.
of the sun.
It's more powerful than
I
our
am
laws.
free
And let's face
because
it, we
of
should
the
find it wrong.
one.
Why are we doing this? I know there's something else, but I've lived my whole life.
I am
Deny
free, not because of you.
Just deny it. Goes away.
You are enslavement.
Maybe I am enslaved. Maybe I'm enslaved. Maybe I am a slave. I may be elite. I may be able to put people to death. I may be able to do whatever I want in society. But I want to know what she's talking about. How could she be so confident? I'm not confident. I'm afraid of death. I don't want to die. I don't want to be like her, but she seems to be having a marvelous time. Why? Aren't I like her? Maybe I am like her. Maybe this whole thing is a charade. I'm lying to
You
myself.
can't take my peace.
Look at her, she just keeps on.
You can't take my peace away from me.
I've had those thoughts, but I push them down.
You won't take
I shove
my
them aside
peace.
because I can't be here.
My
If I have thoughts like that, I can't exist here anymore.
Look, I'm sorry. I really don't want to do this. I'm sorry. I am sorry.
I just feel lost.
Hi. Yes. Well, this is kind of a follow-up and a prelude to the new year. As I said, expect a lot of unpredictable things to be occurring, and there's already been mind-blowing, unbelievable things happening, and more are on the docket. I'm sorry. I wish I could say there was an end to the unbelievable, anomalous things happening things that even those of you who are used to anomalous things, you're going to be scratching your head and going, this is beyond anything that I could predict or expect. And it's because of there is a change of consciousness that's going on that may be called going from one period to another, from one form of consciousness to another. And I had a dream. Well, first of all, let me debunk the UFO thing. The UFO thing is, it's kind of a combination of Project Bluebeam, Space Force, running a drill and drills. The plasma craft, we've been making plasma objects and things for, that it's not, impossible. I'm not saying we make stars, but these are like stars, and they're still a mystery as to when they show up and how they sit there, and they seem to have a message for humanity. But usually the message is you'll be happy and eat, you'll have nothing and be happy. It's usually a Marxist message, and especially about not eating meat and being peaceful and being a friend of Gaia. New Age philosophy, which is always totalitarian. If you'll notice, the New Agers are fascists. They're all fascists. They don't believe in peace and love. That's bullshit. They virtue signal that they're all about peace and love. But what they're really about are rules. And if you want to go to the next level, you're going to have to follow the rules. The same thing it goes on in ashrams, the same thing in the New Age movement, the same thing in secret societies. They have rules, and if you want to be a free man, free woman, you're not going to go well with that. Being told how to think, what to do, how to boost your consciousness so it's acceptable to Gaia, so you can go to the next level, and then you can become like one of these stars. Like I said, I had memories of being like a celestial being, and because I feel like I came to Earth from above, not below. But then again, I see people that are Earth dwellers, and they just relish in the low-level negativity and just war and strife and pain, and they're almost like demons feeding off the people here, and that's unfortunate. But see, most of what happens here is a projection from us. Me. Sorry to get dramatic, but what I'm seeing is me. My hatred, my intolerance, my disappointments, my negativity coming back at me through other people. But really, the only way that you could change the earth would be to change the way people are made. But the Bible really calls it accurately. People are in a fallen condition. We're conflicted. We have both good and evil within us. And sometimes we try to act good, but project the evil. The evil comes back on us, the innocent ones. And then we freak out. Oh my God, I've been so good, and look what's happening to me. No, you did it to yourself, man. You're in this body, in this meat suit, and you're a conflicted consciousness. There's Neil McDonough. I see him on the TV. I think he's a really splendid actor. He's got these really piercing blue eyes. Very, very interesting guy, right, Trish? Larry and I are fans of his. I don't know why we keep saying we're fans of his. We haven't done anything with him, but anyway, so it's all a projection. And if we're conflicted, we project conflict. And conflict is, let's face it, come on. Come with me on this. Drama is conflict. Peace is conflict. War is conflict. Hate is conflict. Peace is conflict, especially when these things are conflicting with the opposites within us. War and peace, love and hate. and things like that. So naturally, the world. Well, I don't like the world. Well, then kill yourself because you're causing the world. It's your fault. It's all your fault. And remember this: it's always your fault, never anyone else's, because there is no one else. Or if you like, it's always Zeph's fault. There, you feel better. It's Zeph's fault because there is no one else. It's the way we're made. We have conflict within us. We have extremes within us. We have opposites within us, and and the opposites are not able to find unity except in Christ, in those spiritual moments where we are in Christ and we have that perfect peace that surpasses understanding. Then we actually are at rest, and we're not projecting into a conflicted world. We project war and peace. The most peaceful Buddhist monks, or anyone on that path that is doing everything they can to be a being of peace, is actually creating more conflict by being peaceful. They would actually be better for the world if they were thugs. What do I mean by that? I mean that when you try to suppress one side or the other side gets going. And for example, the more monks there are embracing peace, the more war there will be in the world. And, it's their fault. I know that's hard. Okay, just pause. Here comes the sun. The sun. Don't let the sun get mad at you. And so this whole thing that's going on is really man trying to get out of the responsibility of being a being containing opposites, but also a fallen being, a being that is fallen to earth dweller. That's why I say I wouldn't want to. Well, it never occurred to me to be an earth dweller. That's, and another axiomatic statement on the Zeph report is, if you conform, all you do is become, an accomplice to murder, an accomplice to all the things you hate about the world. You become an accomplice of. So if you achieve anything, so fucking what? It's ruined by the fact that you're actually part of the evil that you're fighting against, and you're creating it. So you have this fake game where you win and you've overcome, but you didn't overcome. It's all you. See, and then you start getting to that part of spirituality. Okay, that's a spiritual statement. When you get to that level of spirituality, you go, well, then the best thing to do is balance. Then what do we need? What we need is to be in harmony with Creator, to be, there needs to be like a moderator between the harshness of the war of the opposites, which is a projection, and there needs to be a go-between. There needs to be a bridge to the Almighty, which was breached. And that's why we became fallen, because we embraced sin. And the price to be paid was that we would be victims of this fight between good and evil. And we would understand some of those things, but we would be denied eternal life, so that we could, we would know, what was it the Genesis say? We would know good from evil and be able to wield power. But because we're cut short, i.e. we're going to die, which is proof of the fallen condition, then the task becomes, who's the moderator? Where's the go-between? What is the church? Why does there need to be this other component that balances everything out? Because without that, without Jesus, okay, which is my moderator, he's the bridge between light and dark, the bridge that is balanced between light and dark, that is cooperative with everything in the universe, opposites, whatever, that takes the, I guess, it takes the pressure off man to create evil or to create good, actually, which usually turns out as evil, uh, for the purpose of solving the big problem of evil in the world. The problem of evil can't be solved. In Isaiah 45, it talks about God creates the calamity, the evil, the dark, he creates the light. And these two forces go at each other. And like I say, each one of us is conflicted within. That's why that people have a sacred calling, because who knows what to do with this raging earth dwelling that goes on, of the, basking like pigs in the mud, or just being amoebas under a microscope. They go to where it's warm and nice and away from what's harsh. And that's basically life. So that's not going to work. So the only thing that actually does work are these, spiritual sojourns to find peace. Some people start using plants, and then they have these experiences with these beings that also have something to do with these UFOs and all this. And they feel they're on the path to enlightenment, to knowledge, to peace, to a different dimension, to another world. And they believe they will live forever if they can just conquer this thing, if they can just find that peace, if they can just find that Shambhala, if they can find that mountain, if they can find that sacred tree, if they can find that treasure, if they can build that pyramid, if they can just get beyond this terrible conflict within, which what we usually do to mollify it is we project it on the, evil onto evil people. Well, look at that. There's that evil guy out there. Look at that. And we're all good here as we judge others. So we project evil and we create the thing that we hate. And then we are told that we must conform to the rules that suppress the actual reality that's going on and embrace the lie that we are peaceful people and they're bad people out there, right? No, we're bad. We're all bad.
No.
And so how does one be redeemed after that? To me, the word redemption's a little overused. I think what we're looking for is well, we all have memory like that there was once peace, and there was once the garden, there was once paradise, there was once eternal life. There was that we had this thing, and when we lost it, paradise lost. And then if we could just find that again, we could then finally be at peace again. And then, of course, the spiritual teacher will say, but you must find that within. And then you can be, if you're at peace within, you're truly at peace. And the answer to that is, no, that's not true. Because you see, and here comes the age-old problem. I can't be at peace when I know that everybody else is conflicted and suffering and hurting. I'm going to be, getting dragged into these things. I'm not going to be able to maintain peace while everybody else is suffering. I can't have enlightenment while everyone else is in darkness. And the people that want to do this separation, and they work for Gaia, they work for the New Age movement, meaning they're spiritualists, that they're occultists, okay? They have no idea what they're, first of all, they're steeped in ignorance that they can never escape from, because they build traps for their thinking that ensures that they stay at the very place they began, and that it is their fault, and they wasted their entire time on Earth. And I'm sorry. I don't debate. There's no debate here. I'm just stating what is. And then if you don't like the fact the sun's in the sky and the sky is blue, or the water is wet or things like that, then, then take that up with God. Don't argue me with it, because I'm just going to say, the sky is blue. The sun is out. The clouds are there. So these orbs, whatever they are not more powerful than human. Because human is like what's within a human is the same thing as a billion suns. It's the same thing as a billion stars. So, but it's trapped and being, fed off of by everything going on here that drains you and feeds you and eventually just makes you sick, and then you die. And we're in this, inverted hell. And by the way, it's not half good and half bad. It's all bad, because there's death, and there's unfairness, and there's hatred, and there is death, constantly, and lack, and poverty, and jealousy, all the different sins, raging, and earth dwellers, or we call them earth dwellers because they can't seem to rise above that level of just like, throwing mud at each other. They can't seem to realize it's not about them. They take not the illusion, I would say the simulation, which is what this really is. And they take it very, very seriously, rather than living in the real world, which is underneath this one, that's underneath the world of appearances. And basically is the truth about our fallen condition, the truth about how evil the world is, the truth about the fact that nobody wins, the truth about the fact that people, like on social media, it's one of the greatest disasters of all time to happen to human consciousness, because what it's doing to us, it's giving us a false impression of some hidden, some success, some place of victory, the people are living these lives and being social influencers, or and they're driving around and flying in private planes and private jets, and and they're suddenly multimillionaires by doing 15-second TikToks, and that's all just, if that makes you upset, then that's why it's there, because you're actually projecting it there. But it's like a guarantee that you will stay at a low level of consciousness. You will stay distracted. You will stay petty. You will be sinful. And, just think about sin. It doesn't matter whether you have the sin of jealousy or the sin of perversion or the sin of all these things that block, tranquility, that block peace, that block a kind of, a true state of grace. All these things, people are asked to conform to it and then ignore the fact that it's there and pretend we have a Disneyland life. And anybody that breaks rank, breaks the circle of delusion, they're to be a social pariah. They'll never live it down. Anybody that breaks with social norms will never live it down. Well, now we're coming into a state of consciousness where breaking the social norm is it's the only thing going. It's the only thing that's going to really save us, but not so that it's this kind of soliloquy that you tell yourself, but because it's and not because it's solipsism, where all there is you in your mind, and you're in this hellhole, and you're just stuck there. But that things have a chance to be at peace, because there's a chance that the simulation of the world can be broken, or the illusion of the world can be broken big enough so that you can see that you need to be on this other track of thinking, which will bring persecution, because, well, you go and you do your own thing. The first thing they think is you need therapy. You need maybe a mental hospital, maybe some medication. but it's the risk that you take to be free. And so I'm not here to teach you how to do that. I have no solution. I'm just making sure that we understand the problem. And that is why the UFOs don't work. And whatever, these, he's just going to do that as long as I'm talking. We had this problem with Dasha. No to that, Benson. No. Okay, he's got his bone now. He's cool. He got a great big, femur bone. Yeah. So, but no, it's not up to me to tell you how to get out of it, because I'm not here to be your spiritual guide through the labyrinth of consciousness. That is not what I'm here to do. I'm here to just show you the problem, and to speak on it, to make sure that you all know that we are all making the problem. We're all responsible for the problem, and none of us is solving the problem. And I think that's it.
No, Benson. No. No.
Well, how can I make I want to make a difference. Well, if you need someone to pat you on the back, then you've failed.
No.
You need someone to pat you on the back. Go, you're really making a difference. You've really made the world a different place, and we really appreciate it. That's not possible because we are all it. See what I mean? Every one of us is an it. Every one of us is the world. So we get back to the Buddhistic problem, to the Mahayana Buddhism problem, which is that, technically, according to Buddhist philosophy, which I'm just taking as philosophy at this point, you can't really become enlightened if other things are not enlightened. If people are not enlightened, you cannot become enlightened in a vacuum. So the Buddha's enlightenment is really a sham, because there's no such thing as an enlightenment in a vacuum while everyone else is unenlightened. So they came up with this idea of having, like Christ-like figures called bodhisattvas. And these bodhisattvas would be like, they could be saints from an earlier religion. No, stop. So, it's what I'm here, why I'm saying all this is because I think we need to look at the problem and then realize that the UFOs, this is what's happening now, nothing out there like that. Planets, UFOs, suns, portals, dimensions, other worlds, aliens, nothing can save us except God, really. But to do that, the breach would have to be healed. The fall would have to be acknowledged, number one, and then God would have to heal the breach. It's not something that man can do. Hence Jesus as Savior. And there's no guarantee. It doesn't mean you're going to feel like $1 million or $100 million or whatever. You're going to feel great now that you're a Christian. It does mean that you probably will have the discernment via the Holy Spirit, which everybody receives that follows Jesus, that you'll have the discernment to understand how fucked we really are. And once you understand that, then it gets well. See, it's easier for me because I don't have to solve it. I can't help myself. I just create problems. I don't know I'm doing that. When I think I'm creating peace, I'm creating war. When I think I'm doing war, I'm getting peace. When I'm mad at somebody, I'm really creating peace. When I'm friendly with somebody and wanting to help them and bring peace, I'm getting backlash. Everything is being misinterpreted. And of course, because it's a projection of me. And some of these people that, project, like persecution, like you do as a good thing as you can do, and you open up the computer and you take a look at Google and you look at your ratings and you look at these entries people have made that you're with the CIA or you're really with Satan or you're whatever, and you go, gosh, I worked so hard to try to bring awareness to people, and the response I get is that from Christians we get attacked more than anyone else, and that other groups out there don't even relate because Jesus is not a thing at this point. Has been absent from the scene for a long time. People don't understand that. Well, they think, well, I can do karma. In other words, I can do good deeds and get in the favor of Jesus. No, I can be meritorious and get in the favor of Jesus. No, I can be a really great person and save lots of people, get them to say the national anthem of Jesus. I swear to the flag of Jesus that I will be loyal and true, land of the free and home of the brave. Doesn't work. I'll be a patriot. Doesn't work. I'll go to church every day. I'll go to confession. I'll do the rosary every day. I'll do all these works. Doesn't matter. Well, then what can we do? Just speaking for myself, knowing that I am not, knowing that it's not about me and knowing that I'm never alone. This is one of the good things, but knowing that the adventure ahead of death, death, and then what, and what happens then? And I will go where I'm supposed to go. Wherever consciousness keeps going, it's wherever energy and matter is transformed into whatever it is. I'll be a UFO. I'll fly around. I mean, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what happens. Nothing could happen. That'd be perfect peace, right? Nothing. There's nothing. And but if I can avoid being deluded, I have to get my cortisol down. That's been a problem in my life, cortisol. I get very emotional about things, and levels are going up all the time. And I realize it's a thing. That's the thing they've got to do. The exercise I need to do for that is exercise on my own ego. Again, it's not about me. The person that you're mad at over there doesn't even exist. It's just there because I projected it there. I mean, this is what I'm talking about is real reality that is paradoxical and impossible to understand or imagine it. But nevertheless, it's still real. There's still this dynamic that's going on that of you're all that exists. And on some level, that's true. And that level would be the very base level, like you begin as one cell. You know what I mean? That you get down to one cell. You look at the Earth from space, it's this one little blue dot. And all the problems we have thinking about the universe and thinking about ourselves in it, we make ourselves like much bigger than we really are. So it's not about me, and I'm never alone. And I think that's what got me to sort of calm down, from when I have calmed down, to understand that I just need to be quiet. And then if there's negative, if I'm hurting, the tendency I have is to, in the name of helping, I hurt others. Now, I don't mean to, I don't want to, but as long as I'm taking the bull by the horns and I'm going to solve my own problem, and and it's all about earth dwelling, as long as it stays on that level, it's all about living in this ant farm we're in. While these demons and archons and all these other things are picking us off one by one, or using us as food, And none of us realize that. We think it's me against you, you against me against them, the Satanists over there, the Catholics over here, the Protestants over there, the atheist over there. We're all at war with everything. Christians are at war with Christians, atheists with atheists. Anybody that's getting some movement on the internet, people hate their guts, and they go at it with hammer and tong in the comment section, calling them and sometimes doxing them and trying to get them, to show revenge porn, to get even, to knock them down. How dare they, have a life without me? Because you're God. It's all about you. You wouldn't write a snarky comment about even an opponent if you understood the dynamics of reality. You wouldn't do it because you would just be perpetuating your misery. If I write, I've written some things with Stephen King, and X makes it very easy to employ my snarky wit, and it's a temptation to go right down the list and all the the enemies list and tell Bill Gates he belongs in jail and Fauci and go right through it all. But then that binds me to the delusion. That binds me to the pain. That binds me to the shithole called earth and hell. That binds me to bad health. That binds me to being, handicapped. That binds me to being limited. That binds me to being unsatisfied. That binds me to being disappointed. That binds me to not being able to achieve anything because it's all bad anyway. Why even try? This is something that a kind of consciousness that they promote. How they do it on social, how they get us to become almost suicidal like that and filled with negativity, they're masters of it. If it bleeds, it leads. They're there to bring you down. So now we've got the totalitarian UFOs. Mein Führer, I can't walk. So now we have the UFO phenomena. And when was the last time the UFOs sent you a check? When was the last time they boosted your bank account? When was the last time they came to help you in a simple task of doing your taxes? When was the last time they gave you anything besides the universal message of love and peace and Gaia and changing your consciousness, listening to your teachers, being at peace, becoming unable to even defend yourself so that you will be acceptable in the new world of peace? You'd have to become peaceful. People that are peace-oriented are not peaceful. They're fascist. So peace leads to war, and war leads to peace. It's the weirdest thing in the world, but everything is very tricky like that. So that's why I say, okay, so anyway, so that's my take on the UFOs and the silly drones and all the rest of their silliness they have up their sleeve with the underground, the underwater UFOs and the whole bit. We also know there are black holes and there are dimensions in space, and there are other dimensions and parallel dimensions. We understand there's that rippling effect with what we think ripples throughout all of those things. And that are there beings on those other side of other realities trying to come through here and wreak havoc? Of course, these people would like nothing better than to shut us down, to stop the process of thinking. Gee, we're really miserable. Go to church. That's a good way to stay in the loop of misery. I can't think of a more miserable place I've ever been but church. I think it's the most miserable. I guess a Christian bookstore would be about the second most miserable thing that I could think of, or having to be forced to watch Christian movies because they're not honest. And when you're not honest, you don't really tell a good story. You don't, offer alternatives. the response that people had about my way of speaking in the hospital was just to sneak in the middle of the night MRI on my brain and not tell them. I mean, that's basically where I a little too much of this, right? They give you drugs all day long. You talk to them, and some of the things I said got me on the path to becoming a guinea pig. And I went through a major operation there, and I didn't really realize how serious my condition was. I had a I guess I went in there with about a 50 survival hope. And after the operation on my lung, things got better, but that was a major operation, like a heart operation. It's very tricky. And because, in my case, we had a lung that was filled with infection and liters and liters and liters of fluid. And they couldn't get it out with chest tubes, so they had to operate. And the lung had collapsed. So that's, that was for Trish, I think it was very hard because I think they're trying to prepare her for my death subtly. And I just it wasn't ready to go yet. But I didn't feel, when I was in there, I remember I was in there on Christmas last year, and I was lonely. Even I'd seen Trish, I would see Trish for like a few hours, but then, you just have the whole night to go through and the next day. And so I'd be there, I'd look out the window and, I'd realize that, you're here over Christmas. And, but I never really felt alone. I just realized that there are certain limits to people's capacity to think and to talk. So, when you say certain things, they're like, this guy's 70 years old. He's, now something not right with him. You better find out. So they were trying to test me to find out what was wrong with me. And, what was wrong with me is what's wrong with the world. I have managed the conflict of the world within myself. And this is what I've come up with. This is my personality, is my response to it. My use of words is my response to it. The things I talk about is my response to it. It may come out twisted and screwed up, and you may think I need some kind of therapy and all that. That's fine. But, it's not my original thinking. A lot of it is just reacting to a world that is exactly what it is. And that is what you wind up with. You wind up with conflicted thoughts and thinking and words, and you're trying to expand beyond. You're trying to get a look at it, and when you finally get a look at it, it looks something like this. When you're on the verge of peace, it doesn't matter what other people think or do or say regarding me. I have my thought about a thing, and my thought's going to remain with me, and their thought is just like people's opinions, that can go with them. And really, I'm not interested in what they think or what they want to do about it. But there are, groups of people out there when they get together in groups and they focus on people to attack them. The internet's been a real source of that. So the UFO thing is now becoming politicized. So the left naturally likes fascism, likes Nazism, likes racism. They like all that kind of earth-dwelling type behavior because it kind of stems from this need to control, this need to have you think the way they think, dress the way they dress, get jabbed with vaccines or whatever it is. They expect rote obedience. And if you don't give them rote obedience, they make your life hell. And why is that a thing? Because going after Gaia and the occult is putting me backwards in peace, backwards in health, backwards in everything. Oh, I know some of these people look radiant. They have tans, and they have, they spend a lot of time just doing the latest health craze, and trying to be healthy in a superficial way. I mean health that comes from your soul. I can't have that if I participate in the world. I get hell, and so does everybody else. But it's blamable on everything else, not your fault. So you get hell, and you're fighting the noble fight against it, doing the right thing, blessing people, praying for people, trying to be at peace. And this is what you get. No, this is what you've done to yourself. That's very much a Buddhist concept, but a philosophical concept. But it's also got a pretty good standing in global philosophy. That basically, if you understand the world is not what's presented to you, then you can make steps to look at it a different way. Like I said, it's not about you. Therefore, find out what it's about. And that man is in a fallen condition. So I would think that less activity, less need to save the world, less fervency to solve this, less enthusiasm about these UFOs, which the news isn't commenting much anymore, but they're kind of there. They're getting ready to do something with it. And I'm hoping it's not going to be, this recruiting thing, because we've already seen the TV shows, V and others that talked about aliens recruiting people, or recruiting certain amounts of certain kinds of people that can go to the stars so man can procreate, while the planet here and the people here will be nuked and destroyed. There will be offshoots of this civilization that will survive elsewhere because they merited it, because they're such good people. Now, that is a complete fabrication delusion. Those people will be lucky if they're not barbecued on the first night, right? If they're not just taken off the planet and eaten. It seems horribly unfair until you switch your thinking. And when you switch your thinking, there's a chance, since it's not on you, to bring yourself peace. And it's through your faith that you achieve peace. That right there can become a great benefit, In other words, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to change. There's nothing to sign up for. There's no lecture you have to go hear. There's no pastor that can save you. There's no AA meeting that's going to finally, put the final nail in the coffin of evil. It's just understand because that's not the problem. Now, whether we like it or not, we are being changed right now into another. Like I said, that's why there's all these anomalous things happening, because we're going through a change. We're not creating that change. It's happening to us. We're reacting to it. And my opinion of it is I'll just do whatever I do on a daily basis. I'll just adapt to whatever is going on the best I can. But I don't think they're done with us yet. I don't think they're done torturing, and I don't think they're done with wars. And I don't know what's going to happen with Trump and his deportations, and it just looks like ignorance on steroids to me. And when I say that, I don't mean that there's no hope. I just mean that I don't see a man-made solution. I say only God can be the author of some solution that could include humans, if humans are part of that equation. But there's no way for me to find that out. I will just go with my faith and my hunches, because they seem to be more accurate than the news media. I haven't concluded. A lot of these UFOs may be real, and if they are real, then the recruiting that's going on, okay, would suggest that they are the fallen angels. Then, that you're dealing with a dark reality, because when you're recruited, you're being enslaved. Ha. When you're recruited, you're being trained. Ha. And if you go against your training, you'll be kicked out of Shambhala. Ha. So, no solution there. They do great artwork, past civilizations. Maybe we'll get some artwork in this civilization. Maybe the Anunnaki will come back. Maybe Jesus will come back as a trans woman. All I know is that whatever happens, it's a combination projection from us and the will of the Father. So I'm very optimistic, and I feel that things could be really, really great for people if they would just settle down. And the other thing is, I've been thinking about earthquakes lately, and I have nothing really to say about that. I've just been thinking about them, and I've been thinking about seeing the world as it really is, as a project. I was thinking, we don't need to do it that way. And so, blessings to each and every one of you. New Year is going to be great. There's a lot of things happening that we're not doing that will happen to us. So understand that it's going to be a lot of people are going to like where they're going. Me, I'm very kind of greedy. I would like to be off planet, off world. So that's not going to happen. So I need to accept that. I need to accept my situation, and I will. And we'll see you next time. Oh, Trish, when I hit the stop button. Oh, here.
How will you get through another world, a lesser world, a world not your own? Are you who they said you were?
You put a person under the men's telescope, all his memories showed up on a sort of moving picture screen.
And I know what I know, and you're not gonna take it. I'm not going to lie or argue.
Something a little different.